girls who nerdy, but when they dance, they be saying, ow.
What up, y'all? It is I, Ty, your HBIC, your head Blerd in charge. And this is shout out to my Blurs podcast. And this has been a long time coming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My friend is here. I'm going to do his intro, but I'm also just going to talk my shit because this guy and his crew is not just you by yourself.
sure,
So
yeah.
I want to make
Thank
sure
God.
that I big up the crew.
Yeah, yeah.
Are doing such big things in Buffalo when it comes to Black nerd culture. And I cannot wait to get into it. But I'm going to go to my notes and then we'll get into the episode. So I have on Anthony Pierce, aka Ace, Ace the Outsider, who is a self proclaimed Black nerd, a martial artist, a creative, and a community architect. Okay. Ace and the Hidden Village crew have created a growing hub for events, parties, programming, and promotion specifically for Black nerds. From cosplay to show and tell, he is creating intentional space for us to gather, geek out, and be celebrated. With a background in casework and community engagement, a passion for all things Black Panther, Ace combines heart, skill, style to uplift the culture from the youth on up. He is also a dedicated
Capoeirista.
capoeirista.
Yeah.
Oh, and I practiced how to say it. I knew I was going to
I've heard worse. I've heard Capalella. I've heard Capicola, Caparellagram. Like I just heard all types of things. So just like
Jeez Louise. Bringing discipline, rhythm, and more into his everyday work. This episode is about creativity, courage, and cultural power, and the joy of building something for us and by us.
Just like we always wanted.
So let's do it.
Woo,
welcome
right.
to the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you here.
Word.
Like I said in the intro, this has kind of been long overdue because, I have a podcast about Blerds, and shout out to my Blerds.
For sure.
And you do so much within Buffalo when it comes to Black nerd culture and uplifting us weirdos. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's needed because there wasn't always space for us, especially growing up. And the Black nerds you had kind of happening around that time, they were like being made fun of. They weren't celebrated.
Yeah.
You had Carlton Banks, you had Steve Urkel, who had to become Stefan Urkel just for people to take him seriously. And it's like, this guy is a whole ass genius. Like, what do you mean? So I'm glad that we're being embraced and having that visibility and providing that space for us to exist helps that even more. So I just wanted to say that, and I'll get into my little formal question.
Formality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what is your origin story? How did Ace the Outsider come to be? And what sparked your passion for Black nerd culture?
Word. Cool. So, well, thank you for the introduction. That was lovely. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I love hearing how other people think of me because I'm not critical of her. I'm not like, I don't have any anxiety around how people kind of see me.
Right.
But when people see me like in a figure, like what I mean to them, I'm like, oh, damn, I guess I actually do make an impact. So thank you for that.
Yes.
And meaning to find better ways to take my flowers. Sometimes people give me a compliment and it goes in one ear out the other. And I'm just like, I don't know how to take it. I don't know how to respond. Except thank you. Like, how else do I show my appreciation? So, but this feels good. So yeah, my origin story: Buffalo, born, raised. Mom, sister, dad, a whole bunch of siblings and cousins and all that stuff. So Buffalo, born and raised. I've never lived anywhere else. As a kid, I loved cartoons and loved video games. Pokemon's like my favorite video game ever.
Nice.
Even into adulthood, but like growing up, like there's people who grew out of their Pokemon phase,
right?
And like I was the only one still playing in high school. Like there was a couple of them, and I was just like, they're cool, but like no one like loved it to the extent I did,
right?
And I also found like there's different types of nerds, you know what I mean, and geeks. Like there's ones that maybe they have a different pigmentation, but they don't understand both sides of the culture, right? Like they're not into certain things in proximity. Like I'm into Pokemon and hip hop and samurais and all this other stuff. So, and then also my identity as a Black person, we're all kind of transforming at the same time. So it's like, where's the space, for that? So like high school, I kind of not even repressed myself a lot, but I just kept certain things to myself. You know what I mean? But by doing poetry, that's how I kind of like got to express myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that kind of became like a gateway into other things. And so when I was first starting out, one of the teachers at the high school, we were doing poetry, and she was offering to read them anonymously. And so she would read mine anonymously, and she started to like really like it, really dig it. And she just say, I'm gonna call this person Ace, right?
Oh.
Yeah. And I heard that, I was like, that sounds kind of tight. You know what I mean? It's like, and I've heard like there's different aces around the world, right? There's Master Ace, there's Ace Ventura, there's like all these different aces, right? But so that's one thing too. I try to like differentiate it. So as I got into like college and started to realize, oh, there's a lot more nerds in this world. But I'm not those nerds, right? Like those guys are dweebs. Not like, but and they're not all interchangeable. Like nerds, geeks, dweebs, freaks, whatever. Like there's all different types of identities and all that stuff. So that's why I didn't really like hold to one particular identity, because I just didn't find myself aligned with certain groups. So I kind of use that to my advantage. So like, I'm the outsider, you know what I'm saying? Because what I was able to do was actually not infiltrate those groups, but I could find what they liked and find how they talked and kind of become more on a communication level with them, because I am a really good communicator. And so people started to like welcome me into their certain circles. And so I'm an outsider, but I also fit into all these different categories in my own way. Yeah. So that's how Ace the Outsider became a thing. And I was doing YouTube and all this other stuff, and like just became, creative and started to just rock with that title.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you brought up Pokemon. So that wasn't my thing necessarily, although I did pay attention from time to time, but my sister was heavy into Pokemon.
Okay.
I remember she had a poster with all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I remember Charizard was always my favorite. Still to this day.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
That's
I just
fine.
always like Charizard.
He's an easy one to like.
Right.
It's fire breathing dragon. Like,
but my sister had this game. This Pokemon game, it was the most boring thing because like they had Pokemon characters in Smash Brothers. Right. That was one thing.
For sure.
But it was the game where it was a camera. I think it was Nintendo
Pokemon
64.
Snap.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You're just kind of riding along, you're click.
Yes.
Click. Yeah.
But then you think about it, years later we ended up having the Pokemon Go app.
Right.
What you playing, man?
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. I heard of that game. How you play it though?
Well, you go around and you have to catch Pokemon things. And then after you get all the Pokemon, you could like battle and stuff.
You gonna catch them?
Yep.
Alright. Yo, here we go.
Fail, 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 fail.
It was essentially the same thing as that
precursor
game.
to that, for sure.
Hilarious.
Yeah, times definitely changed. It's like, and it was funny how like the wave of Pokemon fanhood came back when that happened, because nobody was like paying attention to like the main games. And then so now in the Pokemon Go, oh yeah, bro, I love Pokemon. It's like because those original 151 came back, and people are like, the memories are being brought up of what they actually did like. So, I'm one of the people who's not like, oh, you can't have this because I've been here this whole time.
Oh my God.
A lot of the gatekeeping.
Stand the gatekeeping
there's
ones.
there's levels to it, right? There's some that make sense because it's like, okay, you're just trying to make a quick buck, you're just trying to insert your opinion.
Right,
here,
okay.
But I actually like growing up with it, you know what I mean? But then there's like, well, no, you should be able to welcome you in. Here, let me show you the ropes of how this fanhood works, and I'll be glad to do that. But then there's people who want to like abuse it or whatever.
I kind of get that because, I'm in the NSYNC fandom. And there's always been rumors, are they coming back together? Are they reuniting?
Right.
And you have a lot of newer fans who are getting into NSYNC.
Getting into NSYNC in 2025.
Right.
What word?
Right.
Okay, all right.
Which, cool. But you little bitches better not buy up the front row. Like, that's for us 40-year-olds that have been following them since the 90s.
Been waiting for this moment, right? I deserve this as a fan.
Yes. Like, welcome to the fandom, but know your place.
Know your place. Welcome to the fandom, but know your place. Yeah.
All right. Question 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you are one of the founders, if not, well, let me correct myself. Are you the founder? Are you one of the founders?
Yeah, the founder.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
So yeah,
the founder.
so
Okay.
I find it too wrapped up in titles, but there is a reason for certain titles,
Yeah.
right? So the story behind Hidden Village is that I went to BlerdCon for 2 years,
Oh.
and the first time I went, had a freaking blast. The first time, because I've been to Nickel City Con and some of the local conventions, but I never went to one that was like all black. And I had heard about it, but I was like, that sounds really fun. So COVID happened and all that, and I don't know. Like, me and traveling sometimes just a lot to do because I find myself having a lot of fun in Buffalo, but there was always something missing, right? And so I went to BlerdCon, had a great time. This is great, cool. I came back, and then I went back the next year. And I'm seeing people I saw from the previous year, and I kind of know the ropes and everything like that. So I was able to have like a more engaged experience. It's 10,000 black folk where you're going, and you're seeing that we're all on like the same page. Like we all have the same jokes, we all have the same humor. We all kind of know that
we all grew up the same way.
Yeah. A lot of us also
much.
being outcasted too. Stories like mine where it's like, I know a bunch of other geeks and nerds, but they're white or they're a different ethnicity, and I feel like I get othered. I feel like I don't belong or something like that. And then when I go with my own people, I don't really get the same welcome either because they look at me as the outcast. So it's like all those people who have like those histories kind of in one place. It's like, oh, finally, this is my people.
Yeah.
Right. And then I come back to Buffalo 2023, and I'm like, this is boring. This sucks. And I'm just like, well, how do we create this? And I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I should be the one to start it off.
Yeah.
So my good friend Otis and Felicia's a cosplayer. Otis, he is the guy he co-owns Blerd. So they helped get me into the BlerdCon scene and everything like that. And so when we got back, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me assemble this team of people I know are gonna have a good time or know who can like bring this stuff together. And so they helped me throw that first party, in partnership with Blerd, and that's how we do our first party. And we had mad people come out.
Yeah,
I was just like,
I think
wow.
I was there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that was the summer of 2023.
Yes.
And after some people saw that, Desiree, C-Sane, and everybody, they're just like, yo, what else? What other help do you need? Because this is awesome. Because I thought about it, I'm like, yo, all my friends are these types of people. Like, how did not see this before? So now there's like we have the coming together of the village, which is Buffalo and everything like that. And we have so many dope secrets, just like outside of like Blerd stuff in general. Buffalo has a lot of amazing secrets, from Underground Railroad to commerce and traffic lights or fire hydrants. There's so many different histories here too. So it's like all these different things become like a nexus for everybody's interests. And that's like the beautiful part about this.
Very cool. And I understand you're also working on a new project called Wakanda Alignment. So can you tell me more about Wakanda Alignment and how that and Hidden Village carry your larger vision into creating space and programming and for Black nerds and Black culture in new ways?
Yeah. So prior to Hidden Village and BlerdCon and everything like that, I was part of a organization that created the Wakanda Alliance, and that was teaching families about Afrofuturism and Black culture using Black Panther comic books and other like related titles that talked about that.
Quickly tell my listeners and viewers what Afrofuturism is.
Yes, so Afrofuturism is a perspective that sees Black people in the future, imagining how they look like, how they talk, how they do all these different things, all the parts of culture that we already know or can imagine.
Right.
Either like changing the path of history. So say if certain colonizers never came to a certain place or whatnot, how does that place grow? Or if they did, then what's the result of that? Or how does it change with technology and the evolution of the world? So a lot of great imaginations there. And it's not limited to the people who are in our time. We can also look at people who are in the past who looked at a better vision for Black people, and they were Afrofuturists because they're thinking of a better future. So that's just like the short term 101 version of Afrofuturism. But and I have been hip to it, but then by doing Wakanda Alliance, we got more and more into it. So I've had a bunch of dope brothers and sisters who put that program together. And then we had it fragmented because of certain choices that were made by other people. But with me being one of the forefront people of that, being like the face of the organization and having a hand in like how everything worked, and understanding the disparity in literacy that a lot of young people are faced with, even before COVID. After COVID, whole different story.
Oh boy.
Like different story, but it's like the same story, right? Because it's just like we're always going to be disproportionately affected or negatively impacted by anything, right? So, but there's people who were taking those programs 4 or 5 years ago who are now, seniors in high school and like moving on through their education who like they benefited from doing that.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, well, I can't let this vision die. So, so yeah, I'm just rebranding it. It's going to become Wakanda Alignment because there's so many components of Wakanda that I think that people are overlooking. Either A, because Marvel and Disney only do so much as far as putting Black Panther in the forefront and also connecting it to the actual culture. And one, I don't think it's their responsibility because at the end of the day, they are ran by people who don't look like us,
right,
or come from the same cloth that we do. So it should be up to the people to make those connections and connect those dots, right? So you got people who like Star Wars and they dress up as clone troopers and go surprise kids at schools, or they do the whole baseball diamond thing where they have like the fourth, may the fourth be with you and all that stuff. So it's like you have all and then they have like amazing fan fictions and videos and movies and fan movies that they create. So it's like it's in the hands of the fans. So and I got affirmation from that when I talked to Ryan Coogler. I called into Sway in the morning.
What?
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, I called into Sway in the morning one day. He had Ryan Coogler on because I had listened in for the first Black Panther film. When they did the second film, they kind of did like a round table. They weren't taking calls. And so when Ryan Coogler came back to talk about, his I think it's before Sinners came out. No, this is like way before Sinners. This is probably last year. He was working on some of the movie. Anyway, so I called in and he basically, I asked him, how do fans keep the vision going, like even out after the movie is done, after you've done all you can do with promotion and all this other stuff, after the movie comes out, how do the fans keep it going? And he basically just said, like, it's yours, like you take it and you transform it however you see fit. And I said, bet, I'm already doing that. I'm gonna keep on doing that. So Wakanda Alignment is just about getting aligned with all the principles that we see in Wakanda, as far as like how they look at themselves, how they look at their neighbors, how they look at the world and everything like that. I feel like there's a lot more conversation there than just what's on the base level.
That's beautiful because I love the world that was created and that Ryan Coogler kind of expanded on for the movie. And just Afrofuturism, even when you think about the music, when you think about the music videos from like the late 90s, the early 2000s, you had TLC with the No Scrubs, you had pretty much all of Missy's videos, Outkast, and you saw glimmers of what our future would look like. Like, it was really dope. So that sounds really dope.
Yeah, I love it. Those kids are so creative too. They have such wild imaginations because they're growing up knowing like how multiverse works, right? So it's like when you do that, now you can make all types of different stories. And it's just like, I've done certain workshops with kids where they'll make their own story, and in 20-30 minutes they done already laid out a whole like universe, like with power sets and power scaling characters and all that stuff. So seeing that is a very powerful thing, and I think that it doesn't always have to transition into making a comic book. It can be a movie, could be a game. Like there's all different credits that contribute to a work of art or a work of like media. So you can play any of those credits. You can be a producer, but you can also be an actor, a voice actor. You can be a researcher. You can be a storyboard artist. You can be a pyrotechnician. Like all these different things tie into making a production. So like find your way in that, and don't just think that it's just director, actor, that's all that matters. No, all these people matter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know from you,
Yeah.
what are some misconceptions that folks, even those folks within the Blerd community, seem to have about those who identify as Black nerds?
There's, like with all things Black, there's no monolith. You know what I mean? Like we're all different in our own way. We're not all gatekeeping incels. We're not all, super freaks. Like shout out to the freaks too. You know what I mean? Your other side of your podcast lane. We'll go into that another time. But like, there's so many varieties. Like, and there's people who love wrestling. There's people who love sci-fi. People who love books. People who love zoology. Like, there's so many different things. So like, if you're questioning, am I Blerd? Just be yourself. You know what I mean? And don't think that you have to watch 100 episodes of One Piece, 1,000 episodes of One Piece to be a Blerd. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the biggest things. And that we're like one of the most, I would say, just like, how can I say it? Abundant Black cultures that are there, because now that veil of is lifted of what a Black person is supposed to be. Like, we're not supposed to be, we're not all supposed to be tough, we're not all supposed to be rich entrepreneurs, we're not all supposed to be, a certain way. Like, there's so many ways for us to exist. And I think that being a Blerd, identifying as a Blerd, opens that pathway and like tears down those false veils.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of us are realizing too, one, that some of us are, a little neurodivergent, which is fine.
Or a lot.
Or a lot, because it adds to our nerddom. But also, I know for me, there would be times where I'm like, I don't feel like I fit in because I don't know nothing about anime. I don't know nothing. The only anime I really paid attention to was Sailor Moon, and that's because it was on before I went to school.
For sure, yeah.
And my sister was really into Sailor Moon. My nerddom had a lot to do with just like 90s, all things 90s, like the sitcoms and the after school specials and the Saturday morning cartoons and the cereals and even the types of foods we were consuming. So everything about the 90s is what I geek out about.
For sure.
But whenever I would be in spaces and they'd be like, oh, I'm this character from this anime, and I'd be like, huh.
Good for you.
I don't know. And so there would be times where I'm like, well, maybe I don't fit into this space because I don't watch anime. But like you said, it's all about just being yourself. You'll find your tribe even within
for sure
the community.
Yeah.
Because you do have your anime people who are over here, and then you may have your other people who are nerdy about Marvel over here. But what I like too is that we don't necessarily, or at least I don't feel like we judge each other because we have different things that we nerd out about. And sometimes we put each other on.
Yeah, for sure. Like I had my friends put me back on the wrestling. I was like, oh snap, I didn't know all this stuff was going on. This is peak storytelling right here. So we put each other on, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it too, is that we get to like share, and all you have to do is like, yo, what's that? Can you tell me more about it? Kind of getting people to geek out about the things so you can at least see their appreciation for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a skilled
I'm finding it.
Capoeirista.
You almost had that extra vowel in the middle of that. Capoeirista.
As a skilled capoeirista.
There you go. Yeah.
How does your martial arts practice intersect with your nerd identity or your community work?
I love martial arts as a kid. Love seeing like Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Michael Jai White, and all these other people, kind of Jim Kelly. Just kind of seeing those things, and even like in Dragon Ball, like how they use martial arts and all that stuff. So I just always loved like the art of combat. But as I grew older and became more aware of African consciousness and like what that means for the diaspora, I started to like do a little bit more research. And so I came across capoeira as a kid, and I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. But I thought it was like just something that's not practiced in America. I thought it was like just Brazil, or like certain parts like New York City or LA would have some sort of sect for that. And then I saw one of my fellow Blerds, the homie Genesis. I saw him performing, I think he was doing music and some dancing stuff at like Kwanzaa. And I saw him doing movements. I'm like, that looks really familiar. I feel like I was studying that a while ago. I'm like, oh, that's capoeira. And, I asked him like, yo, where'd you practice? So on and so forth. And he got me hooked up with his teacher, who was right on the east side of Buffalo. I'm just like, literally 2 blocks from here on the east on Utica. And I'm just like, this whole time it's been here. So I went online, I did some like preliminary, like beginner movements to try it out. And my background's in Taekwondo. And so it's like vastly different in like how the movement is. It's just much more flowy and like kind of just like the Tai Chi of like combat sports, so to speak. And I was just like, oh, this is great. But then doing the history of it too, and learning like how people of the diaspora fought back using it and how they used that as a tool for revolution.
How about that?
And there's dozens of kung fu movies and boxing movies and movies like Jason Statham is in, we're just beating the crap out of people. Like there's all these different movies, but there's barely any movies about capoeira. Why is that? And is it because that, it's because it's so black, like it's black AF, you know what I mean? Because we got people who are, dancing but fighting at the same time along to music. That's just, and we're also doing spiritual practice and all these different things that are, become like a hidden coded language where if you know, you know. So it's like, that's as black as it gets. Why wouldn't something so powerful be in movies? Oh, that's right, because they don't want us to have that power, right? And so that kind of galvanizing more to spread the word of it, especially to young people, to let them know that they have other outlets besides just, you know, music, hip hop, sports, or whatever the case is. Just letting them know that there's other ways to express yourself. Like, you don't have to be just punch. Like if you ever watch capoeira, like we're kicking and everything like that, and it's not rehearsed or anything. Like we're like actually being intimate with the person we're sparring with, so to speak. And so that kind of just creates a great environment, and people are also giving you your energy when they're watching and everything. It's just a very beautiful martial art. And I've been practicing for about 9 years now.
Very cool.
And, you know, being able to teach kids and adults, you know, just so they have this understanding that is more than just what you see in front of you. There's so much more to it than that. So it's been a beautiful tool to plant seeds in those kids, because they're the ones who are going to inherit the world after us. So I would love for them to continue their practice. Maybe one day they're the ones that make it into like a feature film or put it into a cartoon and everything like that. And like, if you watch certain movies, like even like the first Mortal Kombat that came out, there was capoeira in that too. Because I'm watching Scorpion, I think it was Scorpion and Reptile, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They're doing kicks back and forth. I'm like, is that capoeira? You know what I mean? And then there's movies like I think it was called either The Assailant. I always forget the name because there's two different names to it, but the ending, the last fight was the main character versus a fella named Lateef Crowder. He's a very famous martial capoeirista, but he's like the antagonist, right? And he doesn't win, right? So then it goes back into like how we're perceived through media. You know what I mean? Because once people find out that this martial art was used to A, combat oppressors, B, is tied to spirituality, not just spirituality, but deities, and 3, it's just something that just unlocks something in Black folks. So, I mean, anybody, like, I don't, you know, regardless of skin tone, background, culture, whatever, like, capoeira is for anybody, just like any other martial art. So.
Oh, what a beautiful explanation for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I can tell you're very passionate about it,
That's
even in your movement. So, Black Panther, and I know we've touched on it, but I have an official question.
All right.
Black Panther clearly holds a special place in your heart. What does that world represent for you, and how do you see it influencing the larger Black nerd community? Like, I feel like we covered that in a way, but if you have more to say about that.
I think it's a movie that's long overdue, because again, it's going back into how media perceived us, how either the mass media prevents us from expressing ourselves a certain way. Like, it was always there. The way we wanted to express ourselves is always there. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody saw Black Panther back in the 60s, 70s and said, oh, I should make this movie, or I want to make this movie. But the powers that be keep that from happening. So it's already built into us that we're going to create these things and create these outlets. And so I think what Black Panther did is kind of open up the gates for that, because a lot of people who are either adverse to like who we are in that sense are like more aware, more open to having us do stuff like that. Like Black Panther came out and broke all the records. Like, it was the best solo superhero film that made the most money. And it expanded so far off the screen that people were setting up their own drum circles and having parties and after parties and pre-parties and watch parties, and all these different things were happening for this movie. So why wouldn't you, like, you be crazy or foolish or racist to not like build into that, you know what I mean? And so that came out, and then we had Kizazi Moto, which is an Afrofuturist anthology series that came out on Disney. We had another one that was on Disney that came out. I think it was like a fan film or a short film. Forgot the name of it. Ayanu just came out earlier this year on HBO Max, and that's like about a little African girl who has mystic powers, and that's been a comic for a long time, but she just finally got her own animated series, Moon Girl. So it's like, it just kind of opened those gateways. But that's just media, right? Going back into what I do with my work with Wakanda Alignment is just like seeing the different parts of our collective diasporic identity that build into the story, and just kind of tracing the breadcrumbs back to who we are. So all those different tribes that are represented, like, those come from real people, and those real people have real cultures and a real way that they look at things. And with that, you have not just the way somebody looks, the way somebody talks, but you also have the way that people think. And so you've got people who are who think that we evolved from aquatic aliens. You got people who don't have a word for future. They just kind of see the present and the past, and like the future is the present unfolding.
Right.
And it's just like all those philosophical thoughts and everything like that. You got people who are who have, you know, a chakra system, and understanding that chakra systems, or at least like the precursor to that, was identified or manifested in Africa before it got to Asia and all that stuff. So it's like all these different conversations we can have just by reading Black Panther comics, or even similar comics. So it doesn't just have to be Black Panther. There's a lot of other independently owned comics, or like Image comics, that pour more into that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it opened a lot of eyes, a lot of hearts, a lot of minds to it. But again, we need the people to be able to connect the dots, and I'm one of those people who can use a following to influence people, to let them know that there's more at work here than what's presently in front of you. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I remember you putting on screenings, because I think I went to the Wakanda Forever screening.
Yes. Yep.
That you all did. So that was really cool. And then even some of the programming. I remember taking my son to something you were doing, and y'all were making what was the plant?
Oh, the heart-shaped herb.
Yes,
yeah. The light
he
up
still has that. I don't know if it lights up, but yeah,
I still got the materials. We need another one. I got the materials for it, which were made here in this the lab, in the foundry lab.
Yeah. So, wow. See, circles become circles.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did everybody know that that's where it was?
Yes.
Is this her own? Is this your Wakanda? You trying to keep it a secret? Just let me know. We can cut that out if we need to cut that out.
No, we good. I think we're good. We're good. We're good.
That's great though. I love that. Again, like that was years ago, right? That was like 2023, 2022, right? So it's been a while, and I'm just like, I love seeing young people grow up with something that influenced them.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
Absolutely. You have a background in social work, casework field, as do I, and in community engagement. How do those experiences shape how you build nerd-centered spaces and events for Black folk?
Well, it definitely encouraged me of what I don't want to do.
True that.
I think that me as a leader, and seeing kind of where the disparities are with certain people, kind of help shape how important it is to give them resources and to educate them on who they are, because a lot of people suffer from like the way they look at themselves, and depression or anxiety and all that stuff. So by having this blurred space, it kind of gives me something to distract them for a little bit, but then also give them some assistance towards shaping their identity, or at least giving themselves some grace as they express themselves. So I think that's super important. Like my background in casework, it's like a little bit of that, but ultimately me being in, going to Kwanzaa, going to Juneteenth, going to all the other small festivals in between that, also kind of give me a little bit more context and kind of just show me where the gaps are, right? Because a lot of people are coming from a certain mindset or a certain type of consciousness, and I think that they have trouble reaching out to the youth, and they have trouble reaching out to younger demographics, even like as young as us. Like, why am I going to a committee meeting and there's nobody between like our age and their age? You know what I'm saying? So what's going on there? And there's so many unaddressed traumas, and there's like the whole laundry list of different things. But I think that by making this space, I'm kind of seeing the opportunities there, that I can reach them in other ways that other people can't. So it's just getting those, and also even connecting it back. I mean, even after we take off the cosplays, we're still people working in America, trying to find our way. So how the hell do we do that? We still got to go to therapy. We still got to find jobs. We still that part, right? You still gotta eat. You know what I mean? So it's like all these different things. So but just giving people that space where they can just be themselves for only a moment, but then that kind of pulls down the veil, another type of veil, right? That they're able to see themselves or see their people in a different light.
Absolutely, because I know y'all had a setup at the Juneteenth, and in the hot ass 80-something degrees sun.
Woo! Yep. I have that Black Panther suit on. Oh yeah.
But
I was committed.
But I know, and I'm sure it meant a lot to the young people to see you.
Yeah.
And to see everyone just kind of in their own nerd space and being embraced in that space. Yeah.
And I mean, Black Panther being so recognizable to people too. For the Juneteenth festival, I got to dress up as Black Panther, and I've always wanted to, but I've always had a hesitation doing it because, hey, look, I'm 5'4". Anybody who's like second grade and under is seeing the magic. Everybody else is just like, yo, you're my height. I wasn't trying to be out here looking like Kid Panther, but I was pleasantly surprised by how many kids and adults wanted pictures, and throwing up the Wakanda salute every 3 seconds was just absolutely amazing. All the kids were so happy to see me. Grandma don't know what a Super Saiyan is, but she knows what Black Panther is, right? So it's like, I'm seeing all the aunties and uncles and everybody like waving, and it's like, oh yeah. And it's like, that movie came out in 2018.
Yeah, and we showed out at the theater.
Sure
when we came, man.
And then we had the second one, which is like half celebration, half funeral.
Right.
And the vibes are just totally different.
Truly. I think everybody was like wearing white.
Yeah.
For that one.
Yeah. And I mean, like, who's ever had a movie like that where they also going beyond the movie, going beyond what's on screen again to actually take in that we have lost somebody, and like, let's celebrate him in a way that's not only respectful to him, but also culturally relevant to who we are.
Yeah.
Right. And again, after that movie happens, after that, whatever it is happens, how do we carry on? How do we continue the conversations? So that's where people like me come in. Instead of just being like a mad fanboy who's mad that T'Challa didn't get recasted, it's like, no, there's so much more that we can talk about or do. Not just talk, we gotta do. We gotta put our hands in the ground. We gotta till the soil, because regardless of how we feel, we still have another generation behind us, another generation behind them. So we gotta make sure that we have our stuff right, so that they can come into something and be equipped to handle it, be equipped to take it on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's been a huge shift in how Black nerd culture is embraced and celebrated today and lately. What changes have you seen, and what do you still want to see more of?
A lot more body positivity. I love seeing that. I love seeing all the thick women's, all the thick men's, like they are out here looking sexy in their cosplays. And it's just like, yo, that's the Black way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, Black people will always find a way to make something more beautiful. So it's always fun to see how we use our bodies, no matter shape, size, how we use our hair, how we use our different features, and just take what would have been a normal cosplay of a recognizable person, a recognizable figure, character, and we just transform and we throw our flavor in there, put our little seasons in there, and it just kind of
elevate it.
Yeah, exactly,
man.
So yeah, I love seeing that. I love that there's also more conversations about, just like the real world things, like, not just talking about racism, but also sexism and all the other isms that are entwined in, just realizing that blurs are still people too.
Yeah.
And that we all need to like address certain things, and like how do we address that? So those are some of the beautiful things I love seeing across the board. And then even in Buffalo, I'm glad that people are taking more of an approach to their geekness or their blerdism. Like, I'm seeing people do anime paint and sips and like other small events and all that stuff. So like, we're making it hot. I mean, it's been hot in like other places for a long time, which is the Buffalo way. I mean, any smaller city is gonna, it's gonna take them a while to actually embrace a new concept. So, but yeah, just kind of be leading the forefront of that. Like, my team and I, like, we're super happy about that. And we kind of, we're not trying to gatekeep too much. Like, we're just trying to, we got this over here, but we're going to inspire you to do your own thing and like uplift your craft and uplift your techniques or whatever you want to bring. Or even like in the commercial space, like, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to sell figures, you want to make these crafts, you want to sell your, whatever it is you want to do, become an entrepreneur too. Like, because we're making the audience for it, or because we're giving them an idea. Oh, wait, this has been here, this Blerd thing, this idea of, all the things that I like being an actual entity. I can feed into that, or I can become a part of that. So it's just all beautiful things all around. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. What challenges have you faced as a Black nerd leader trying to build community, and how have you navigated those challenges?
I mean, well, just because you're a nerd doesn't mean you can't still be an asshole. So, regulating the space, because again, they're people at the end of the day, so they're still carrying their traumas or their faults or whatever it is. So it's like managing that is a part of it, you know what I mean? And also like it's a smaller city, so a lot of people's pasts are interconnected. Like you go to a party, there's your ex, there's your cousin's ex, there's your brother's, whatever. Like there's all these different things, and then we also have like a wide age range of people too. So we got people who are in their low 20s, and then people who are in their upper 40s, low 50s as well who pull up. So it's like, okay, we got to really, is really interesting. And then we also have a lot of young people who we haven't really started doing events for them yet, because that's like a whole other responsibility that we have to take with a lot of care, because these are kids we talking about. So we gotta, but they also need their spaces, right? So I mean, I would love to find a way to get like, let's just call it Hidden Village Junior. If I can like raise them,
Nick Jr.
Right? Hi, I'm Face. Like, if we like give them the tools for how they can facilitate an event, facilitate a party. Now we're equipping them to actually handle that in a careful manner, instead of just being like, oh, let's throw a party, and then they got all these different problems popping up. Right. We don't want them to be irresponsible at all. So I think that comes with a level of responsibility that is necessary to create an environment where people feel safe. Because at the end of the day, people just want to feel safe, right? Absolutely. They want to feel safe in their cosplay. They don't want to be violated or touched a certain way. They want to be talked to a certain way. So there's all these different conversations that need to happen in order to create, because otherwise you just run into the same problems that everybody else has. Right. It's like having certain conversations that are, aware of triggers and all that stuff. So so there's those challenges, and I mean, like any challenge that comes with the team, like I'm so grateful to have such a talented team. So it's like definitely finding where people's strengths are, but also not just their flaws, but the opportunity within their flaws. It's like, okay, you're showing yourself, but how can we turn this into a lesson, or to make you better, to make the team better altogether? So shout out to the Hidden Village team. Love y'all. I gotta teach you our handshake. We got our own handshake now too. Cool. Right. All right, you ready? Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So we're gonna pass through there. We're gonna put our and then you know how they do the Naruto like jutsu sign. This is what it is. Just 2 fingers are bent down, and these 2 fingers, and you kind of just bend your thumb like that, and you put it to your chest like that. That's how you summon your jutsu or whatever. All right, cool. So you pass through, extend your arm, and then bring it to your chest. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at that. I love it. Thank you for that.
For sure. That's the other part too. It's like building our identity, making sure we use like certain emojis and like the hand slap and all that stuff. And then we're working on our own song and all that. So it's like just really like immersing people in the experience. For sure.
Very cool. So if you could create your dream project or event through Hidden Village, no worries about budget or limit, what would it be, and who would it include?
Y'all better not steal this idea. I'm gatekeeping the fuck out this idea. Okay. I would love to do, and I was just talking about it too. Like there's 2 of them that I really want to do.
And wait a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I understand the importance of not giving your whole stuff away. If you choose to, you are welcome to do that in this space. Yes. But if you're like, no, I'm gonna hold on to that.
Top secret.
That's okay too.
Yeah. You might have to redact a few things. So like this one I know is like it's powerful, because like it doesn't just take me. It takes everybody coming together. Like let's all bring our resources, all bring our love for the thing to make it happen. I would love to do like a Naruto run, like a ninja run marathon type of event where where it's not just, so in the Naruto anime, there's something called the Chunin exams, which are just like exams that young ninjas go to graduate them into being older ninjas, so they can get like different missions and all that. So kind of like a rites of passage type of thing. But there's like, they do like a written exam and a physical test and like all these different things. But I was like, okay, well, how do we turn that into an event where like it's a challenge, like maybe like a physical challenge, maybe like an obstacle course or some sort like that. Maybe there's like that part. There might be like a combat component where they got to fight with the giant toothpicks with the fuzzy, not the fuzzy, the rubber things on the end.
So like maybe a triathlon.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Maybe something that's like more mental or whatnot. So I think that'd be like a cool festival, because people keep trying to tell, like when people keep asking if I'm going to do a convention, no, I don't want. There's so much that goes into a convention, like. We can't do that yet. We can't get there yet. Like it's possible, but there's also like a saturation, because everybody sees, oh, BlerdCon, that's great. I should do that. That's probably gonna be a lot of money. It's probably gonna be a lot of friends. It's a headache. So I'd rather take over other people's cons. So But yeah, I think an event like that would get a lot of young people involved.
Kind of like the VillaCon.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That was very cool.
Yeah,
I loved the programming that y'all had available
Were
during
you
that
on our
time.
panel?
I was on
You
the
were on the panel.
You started your business and what you would consider success in what you're trying to do.
If you know the product that you have is good, the success will come.
It just makes sense to combine these things that I love and do something with it. And as a creative, it's just so satisfying to see everything that, you know, is in your head just come to life.
When it comes to success, it's about, for my thing, it's what you teach others. So much so I can't do calligraphy, but he wrote the armor on here. Around my neck right here, is protect your neck in Arabic.
Ooh.
So there's like hidden deals like that.
So Elon ended up buying my entire collection. Then she had me make a separate one for Issa Rae. She got back to LA, gave it to Issa. Issa posted it. And then that's how my shit blew up.
And I don't think I had ever been to a VillaCon prior to that.
Yeah. I think there was only 2 before there was that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or maybe that was like the second one or whatnot. But yeah, so like Villa Maria College is a dope resource to have. Like the colleges in general, right? We have UBCon, they got their thing as well, so we're taking that over next.
Nice.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just putting it in.
Hey, let's manifest.
We'll see what happens. Manifest it, right? But yeah, even Nickel City Con, I just, I go there and I see like how. That's the other thing is like a lot of things are being like commercialized, right? You got like who collaborated with Naruto? Was it like Louis Vuitton?
Oh,
collaborated with Naruto or something like that. Someone at Burger King probably did One Piece. So it's like the commercialization of like what makes not just blerd culture but like geek culture. Like there's a lot of that too. So it's like finding like it's natural. That's how I was gonna say capitalism and works. So I understand that too, but there's always like stuff that's homegrown. You feel me? But yeah, I would love to do like a Naruto themed event or just like a ninja themed event. But I think the one part that another challenge that I have is that I'm also still a Black man at the end of the day, and I love my Black people, love my African diaspora people. So how do I maintain that forefront as I'm how do I still push that agenda, right? Because it's important for us to still know who we are. Because I mean, embracing Japanese culture is great, but Japanese also have a history of being racist, not just towards Black people, but to anybody outside of Japan, their nationalism and all that stuff too. So I think there's a lot of conversation there. But if you remember what we did with the Juneteenth, is that we decided to combine not to combine, but to connect the dots between the African diaspora and the Asian diaspora. So we talked about how the food connects, everything from the fried chicken, the certain like ingredients, and the salt tray, whatever that route was that connected Africa to the Asia, like so like all the seasonings and everything like that. We talked about how music intersects, how like a lot of our R&B artists like Teddy Riley from back in the 90s connected with K-pop musicians to help develop them. So they have their boy bands and girl bands and all that stuff. And even now we still got Buffalo grown artist. He was producing here in Buffalo, and then he's working with K-pop artists too. Wow. So it's like we have all these different dynamics that still like intersect. So let's like use that to show how much more we are together. Because as you can see, a lot of people are trying to divide us per usual, but they're trying to make sure that we hate each other. And just kind of finding those connections so we can stand united, so we don't have to feel the brunt of these fools who are in charge of our country and our world pushed down on us. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of potential there with what we're creating and gonna keep creating for sure.
So what advice would you give to other Black nerds who are trying to build something of their own or find their community?
It's kind of cliche. Nike, just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, I won't say there's no wrong answers, but I mean, like with every step you take, there should be a lesson in what you're creating. So it's just like, be as authentic as you can. Don't try to force anything. Just like, definitely care about the people, because the people you're serving, they're people at the end of the day, they're people. So you need to take their love and appreciation for what you do as a testament to how you can improve their lives or improve your life, or whatever the case is. You got to care about your fans. You got to care about whoever you're creating something for. Even if it's just you, like still care for yourself as you're creating it as well. You know what I mean? Make sure you get that therapy. Make sure you talk to somebody about what you're feeling. Don't kind of just use this as a cover for what you're building, because at some point someone's going to peek behind the curtain and see you for who you actually are, and you don't want your whole thing to topple over because you didn't do the proper work to make sure you're in the right place mentally, spiritually, whatever, to create it. You know what I mean? Because we see people who have resources, they got a lot of money, they got a lot of talent, they can do all this stuff, but like behind the scenes are just crazy, different type of person. And we see with our celebrities right now, make some bomb music, make some bomb acting gigs, all this other stuff, bomb company, like great stuff, but you know, doing some stuff behind the scenes that just are wicked. So you gotta make sure you have that intact. So
you gotta keep your integrity intact. Absolutely.
100%.
And you gotta, like you were saying, treat people well and make them feel welcome to be in that space. It makes me think of Sinners. When Stack and Annie had to get smoked together, like, hey, he worked hard for them wooden nickels. You gotta make the people feel welcome if you want them to keep coming back.
100%.
Yeah.
That movie was so coded. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I can go on all day. I already have 3 episodes of the podcast where I talk about Sinners, so make sure y'all go watch those. But yeah, tight. We gotta have like a big discussion where we all just talk. I mean, there was an event last week.
I'm about to say, did you go?
I did go.
Okay,
and we did have a good discussion about Sinners. I wish it was longer. I wish we had more time to talk about, like, just to cut that thing open and dissect
one of those
it
movies,
piece by piece. Because
I mean, like Black Panther, The Sinners, like there's so many different movies that just expand the conversation, expound on the conversation. So you just endlessly just keep talking. And I'm just it's gonna be one of those historic movies you always come back to as well too. So I don't know if they plan on doing a Sinners 2, 3 or whatever, but like
I know Ryan Coogler said no, and I'm just like, but there's so many more stories that can come from this. What happened to Sammy after he drove off? Like, we see where he ended up in 60 years, but like he lost everything and he left his family. So how did he get from this beaten and battered Sammy with this broken guitar and this trauma to this famous blues singer? Stack and Mary, how were they living their vampire life together over those years? You know?
And I think that, and again, that opens up the door for like the fans to come in and like do their own things.
That
you know what I mean? So we got people who do lighting, we got people who can act, got people who are makeup, costume designers, like,
and that's what I love. That's how not even the reboot. I don't even want to call it a reboot. The Fresh Prince, the reimagined Fresh Prince. That's how that came about. It was just a fan video.
Oh, is that what it was? I didn't even know. It
started off as a fan video. It got to Will Smith, and they're like, "Well, let's actually do this show."
Wow. Did I tell you I met Hillary and Aunt Viv, dark skin Aunt Viv?
When they were here. I missed that.
I didn't take a picture because I was broke, but you know, I got to meet her. And I'm like, oh, she's so dope.
That was me with Walter Jones.
Oh, word.
I met him at Comic-Con in 2016, but I had no money, so I couldn't take a picture. But I at least met him.
Jones, that's the Black Ranger. Man.
I know.
No, that's dope. That's mad cool.
Yeah. So I do have some rapid fire questions for you.
All right.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
All right. Which character is your ride or die and why?
Black Panther is just always going to be that guy. I mean, there's so much. So I'm specifically say T'Challa because, like, I don't like the way that Marvel's handling him right now. Like, they're not doing something about a white son. It's just like, yo, who cares? Like, there's so much more. He's got a whole intergalactic empire that we could be envisioning.
Right.
Or having fun with. And why are we going back to the city next door to Wakanda, like the Rochester of Wakanda, like the main city? There's like,
is that what they're doing? And that's funny. This is Rochester.
I love Rochester people. Don't get me wrong, but we know that there's less going on in Rochester than there is in Buffalo, and like they just kind of it's just dumb. It's just dumb. Plus, there's supposed to be a Black Panther video game that came out in the next year, and they canceled that recently. So I'm just pissed. So next question.
Okay. Moving on and praying for you.
Thank you.
What anime would you live in and why?
Oh, Pokemon for sure. Yeah, I just think there's so many whimsical things that happen in Pokemon that it's just fun. You got all these little monsters who like are integrated with your society and all that stuff. Like I had a YouTube TikTok that I was doing called Use That Pokemon. Or it's like, how will we use Pokemon in real life if we had them? Like, how do they tie into our society? So like, would all the squirrels and blastoids be on our firefighter team, or are their little legs too stubby for them to move, or like, how do these creatures contribute to our society? Because even in our world, animals definitely influence how we build our society up. Like the armors that we have for like wars and everything, people have always studied animals. Kung Fu and everything, people have always studied animals. So like, how do we integrate Pokemon into our real world? So I want to get back to that at some point, because between Black Panther and Pokemon, I'm actually a bigger fan of Pokemon because I've been with it longer.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, it would be that. But I got to be specific, because the manga, like the comic books of Pokemon, are more serious. Like people actually die in that comic. Like Pokemon battles are actually life threatening. So it's just like, so it's pretty fascinating. So yeah, Pokemon definitely though.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Your go-to cosplay character?
Besides Black Panther, I love Static. Static was one of my other like first like the first black superhero I actually like recognized and resonated
Static Shock.
with. Static Shock, yes.
Okay, yes.
So because like when we watched Static Shock in the 2000s when it came out, he was dope. Won awards, like pivotal series, and the same person who wrote Justice League as well. And Justice League had Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart was like Unk status, right? So it was like, but Virgil Hawkins, he was like, younger. So he was like, our Spider-Man, so to speak. So, but when I found out that he had a comic, I was like, wait, what? So I like, as an adult, I was doing some digging, and I found his old comic from the 90s. And I was like, oh, this is mad dope. So I started collecting them, and, they stopped appearing at one point, but I'm glad I got like a big old stack of those old school 90s comics, and they would feature just like the show featured Lil Romeo and Shaq and all those people, like the comics would also feature some 90s artists and everything like that. So this is mad dope. And then sadly, the person who created Static, and wrote for that show, he passed away. Dwayne McDuffie was his name. And I found out about him like either right before he died or like right after he died. So I'm just like, damn. But so the first cosplay I wore, I think the first or the second, was the old school Static from the 90s, and he had like a blue jumpsuit with like a lightning streak going down, and then he had like a purple hat with an X on it. I thought that was like so black, so dope, and that's just like my go-to cosplay. I want to do one of his upgraded looks because he has a new recent comic that came out like maybe 1 or 2 years ago, where it's like starts from his beginning, but his parents know who he is, and like you actually get to see how both he like in the series he lost his mother. But in the comic book, both of his parents are there and his sister are there. So you're seeing how they all kind of help him through his superhero journey instead of having like the Spider-Man thing where nobody knows and how do I balance out my life? But they know, and they're like black parents. Trying to be a superhero when you got black parents is like there's no
ain't no secrets in this house. Ain't no closed doors.
Right. So like you have like his parents have that attitude to some degree. But also they want to help him. They're giving him life lessons as he's going through his journey. I thought that was so magical, so dope. And, we got Miles Morales on this side, and on this side we got Static. So it's like those two characters for like young people to have those types of characters right now, amazing. So, but yeah, Static is my go-to cosplay for sure.
Okay. If you could squad up with any 3 black nerd icons, real or fictional, who's on the squad?
Damn. Oof. Wow. Okay. Definitely going Static, just because he's like younger and he's like mad chill, mad cool. Ryan Coogler would do a dope Static film. I think he would do an incredible Static film. I would say T'Challa, but I really want to get, if I could pick somebody who's on the other side of the astral plane, it would be Chadwick Boseman. Just to kind of sit down and talk with him, because that's like the first celebrity that I cried over, when he passed. I'm just like, wow. So, and it's like, it was hard because I couldn't even like go back to the first film, because I'm just like, am I doing this justice? Am I doing this project, this idea justice? I kind of had to wrestle with that. Like, I don't think I've gone back to watch it. Like, I tried to watch it the one day, and I was just like working while I was doing it, but like, I got to sit down and actually intentionally watch the film and just like kind of sit with that. But 100% it would be Chadwick Boseman, Ryan Coogler, and Static, or the person that just plays Static. I don't know. Something's gonna happen there. Something is going to happen there. So yeah.
We gonna also manifest that
for sure.
We gonna put that in the universe. Yes. Okay. What is your personal anthem or theme song?
Ooh, man. I would say, man. I think Wu-Tang Protect Your Neck is a dope one, because that's the one where I like, I'll do breath control. Like I gotta like rap
Okay.
everybody's parts.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one song where I just like kind of tap in and try to rap like everybody's parts. So I have a lot of fun with that song. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, Family Affair.
Okay, yep.
That song, like when that song comes on, it sounds like a battle cry, like a war song. Dun, 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 dun. Like it just sounds like the troops is lining up.
Yeah.
Jumping that bitch. Like it just like then it transforms into that, right?
Yes.
But like, yeah, I think that's a fantastic song, and I just like the beat switch and how his flow comes in. Like that's one of my other favorite songs. So I would say those two. But a special mention for Annie Up, because Busta Rhymes, immaculate, like artist, wordsmith, or whatever. So like that's another hard hitting energy song that I just love when it comes on. Like I go crazy, I start breakdancing and crumping and just doing moves that I forgot they were there. So yeah, for sure.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. Comic book, manga, anime, or show that Black nerds need to read or watch.
Well, there's so many different tastes, and this kind of goes back into like monolith. You know what I mean? So I really, so the comic I enjoyed reading the most was the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, because it started kind of T'Challa from scratch because his memory got wiped. He was in a different universe and kind of had to traverse that loss of identity to find himself again. I thought that was pretty cool. There's also like a lot of coding in that, which I think that again Ryan Coogler should be on, but like it was just like Star Wars meets Black Panther, and like that was like a great fusion of characters and just like ideas. So that's a really good one. You said manga and anime too. Do I have to answer one for every category? Or
you don't have to. Okay, but just your recommendations.
Okay, so there's also a capoeira manga. That a person who was Japanese, they went to Brazil, studied it, and came back. And that's called Batuke. But that's a really interesting thing because it kind of got to see, like, there's very little media around capoeira. This is what like ticks me off, but it's also an opportunity. So we got Eddie off of Tekken, and that's like it. But like there's so much, again, fertile land there to like grow something out of. So so yeah, I think that's a great one that people should read. I encourage people to read stuff that isn't Marvel or DC. Like as much as I like stan Marvel and all that stuff, there's only so much that can be done. Because no matter what you do, Captain America, Wolverine, or Spider-Man are gonna top whatever like universal like power that you have. They're always gonna be kind of held to this standard that's no other character can kind of meet. So that's why I definitely encourage people to go see like an indie comic or something like that. Image Comics has a lot of different comic titles. They have one called Excellence, where it's like, I don't want to compare it to Harry Potter, but just like Black Wizards and Witches, like how they, navigating a story of like growth and adulthood and rites of passage and that type of thing, kind of going against a wizard order, so there's a dope one. Yeah.
What is it called again?
Excellence.
So speaking of, do you watch Abbott Elementary?
Yes.
Do you remember the episode where the PTA was concerned about this book? It was like a Black Wizard book.
Did you ban the Sassy Wizard book from the library? Watch your phone. And I did. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't put Sassy Wizard Kid back in the library pronto, you're going to have a big old problem with me, the head P of the PTA. Okay, expecto, no way, yo. What the hell are you talking about? My son was excited to read that book to me at bedtime. And why are you going to sleep before your son? I am sleepy.
Oh, wait.
It was fictional for the series, but I was like, I wish that was real. Because the way that they were talking about it, and then at the end, the PTA kind of comes along and they're like, okay, no, this actually does teach good lessons.
Right, yeah.
Because, people get so caught up in, my child's not watching anything having to do with witchcraft.
Evil and devilish and all that stuff.
And it's just like, no, it's imagination. It's, whatever. But I remember watching that and I was like, is that real? And I remember going to Amazon like, what's the name of that? And it wasn't real.
Yeah.
So now
that
I know that, I'm going to go look that up.
Excellence is great. It was only around for like maybe one run, which sucks. But, but you got something like Children of Blood and Bone.
Okay,
so like you got that trilogy. That's
turning that into a movie. That's coming.
And it's like, that's also part of our history too. Like we can't keep denying that because we're still using it. And sometimes we're using it without even knowing that we're using it. So it's just like, let's embrace that black magic. Like, you know what I mean? Because that black magic, like the term, there's one thing that it means to other people, but it means something totally different to other people. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. You get to fight one villain. Who is it and what's your power?
Donald Trump. And
Okay. Yep.
Man, I don't think I would do mind control. I think my power would be just like rallying people, like getting them to see the truth. Like if I could just like stick my hand out and like get people to see how great they are and how much power they have, and just again rip away those veils that are just false. That would be my power. So it's not telekinesis, it's not telepathy, it's not mind control. It is actually getting you to see the person that you truly are inside.
Right.
So I think that would be my superpower.
Because there's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on. And it's just like, logic is chasing you.
And you're running away. Like, I don't want it.
You're running away.
You're running away blind. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Nope, I don't hear it. Nope. Doesn't exist. Black history. Nope. Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then my final question, one word or phrase to describe the future of Black nerd culture.
I would say, I'm going to quote Asada Shakur, is that we must become weapons of mass construction.
Ooh.
And I just love the idea of mass construction, because you think about mass destruction and like how a nuclear bomb will create problems for decades and decades and decades and maybe even centuries, how it devastates everything that it touches. Mass construction is the opposite of that. Mass construction sets a path, a momentum of building, of creativity, of lifting, of birthing, of all these different things. And instead of destroying everything it touches, it inspires, or it creates or builds up everything that it touches. And so the word mass construction to me means so much. So I think that mass construction is that phrase.
I love that. Because you know what? I have a bunch of what are they called? Graphic novels. And so I have a graphic novel about the Black Panthers. And I learned so much. Like, I knew a base level about the Black Panther and Panther movement and, you know, all of that. And something about it being broken down to that level, a graphic novel level. I think I have I also have another one that's like a Black history one. It just like, kind of like if you're reading a manga or a comic book, and it just captures you in a different way than just reading a history book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The way that people take in information, like there's so many different ways that people do. And we're still kind of on the surface level of how people take in information. Like it's kind of being used against us to make AI and like other like algorithms and whatnot. Like, but to unravel that, like even like the idea of people being neurodivergent and autistic, like people, that's kind of still a new conversation that people are having, especially for Black folk.
Right.
So again, like there's just like the ways we're unraveling that, there's so much more potential there. So like, yes, you can teach a whole lesson using comic books or graphic novels. Like, you know, it should be in schools. Why are we just confining kids to a word of text? Like I was watching Piece by Piece, like Pharrell's Lego film. And, you know, and he's talking about like how he didn't do well in school because he just took in information differently. Like he has, he sees colors when he hears music. That's how he's learning. So if you can combine those two things, and now you have an outlet that, you know, helps the productivity of the brain, creativity of the brain. So yeah, a lot of stuff there for sure.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. Like, this was a joy, a pleasure. I truly enjoyed our conversation. And I want to know if you have anyone you want to shout out, any upcoming events that you want to, you know, talk about or invite people to. Feel free.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Shout out to Hidden Village. Y'all are always awesome. Like, my team is so, like, people go through so much in their lives, you know what I mean? And again, trying to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in the space that they're in. It's just like, there's so much more we have yet to create. So not only shout out to all the Hidden Village, like people who are behind the scenes, but everybody who's a fan or anybody who's walked through the doors or supported the movement. Beautiful. Same thing with Wakanda alignment, like everybody who's been a part of that, just completely amazing human beings. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Like, we're really trying to find out how to make this process as simple as possible while building at the same time. Like doing that mass construction idea where we're not just doing, you know, parties. Like, let's do events, panels, and all that stuff, workshops and all that stuff. We might do another fairy event, Black Fae event. So we'll see how that works. in the meantime, I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, fellow open leaders, come on now.
Come
we
on
doing
now.
it.
Yes.
I'm part of that system too, so I'm
That's
kind of see
dope.
how that transforms everything.
Oh man, you're gonna do great.
Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you. So yeah, a lot of stuff on the horizon. So, but it's fourth quarter, so it's like Halloween is like an easy one because people are already dressing up, right?
Yes.
We still got to find the right place to draw the party in, and then
Mhm.
holidays and whatnot. So this is kind of like a downtrend, but also while this is happening, I still gotta do.
Well, I mean, you guys are coming off the high of your second anniversary party, so
Over there, and over there, and over there, and over there, over there, and over there, he over there. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Running in the air. I'm a B-L-E-R-D. I'm a Blerd. I'm a stand with my people while my ushers let it burn. MC, energy, you decide what's your turn. I'm a Blerd. I'm a Blerd. I'm a motherfucking Blerd. I'm a B-L-E-R-D. I'm a Blerd. I'm a stand with my
you know, it's natural to have a little bit of downtime before things pick back up.
Yeah, because I'm still working, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on the right track again. Being, I'm not employed by an employer, so to speak, like I'm per diem or whatever. But but that again, that's giving me some time to take a step back and like evaluate and get back into that rhythm that I had when I was doing stuff beforehand. So I'm on the right track. I'm totally confident, so I'm happy about it.
Dope. Well, we appreciate you. I appreciate you. So thank you so much. And y'all tune in for the next episode. Make sure that y'all make sure that if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, Chaotic Goodie-Good, that you subscribe so that you are up to date on when new episodes are coming out. Where can we find you on social?
Yes. Hidden Village is at Hidden Village 716. My personal is at Ace the Outsider, Ace_the Outsider. I should pop up either way. And then at Wakanda_alignment is the Instagram for that. So we also have a Facebook page, Hidden Village Events. We're going to be doing some more formalization of the formula. So, you know what I mean? So we got to have an official Facebook page. So yeah, just follow us online. We're going to, make sure we stay in touch and everything. Shoot me a DM. I'm not like weird about DMs. I just probably take a while because I'm always getting some type of message or interaction.
And make sure y'all don't send him a bunch of reels. Me either.
Yeah, please do not do it. You will get blocked or
oh my gosh,
or a combination of both.
I had to tell a couple of my peoples like, yo, enough with the reels today. Thank you.
It's like so irrelevant. Like, I'm glad you think this is funny. It pisses me off more if I don't think it's funny or entertaining, or if I've seen it 1,000 times. Like, yes, I've been tagged in that capoeira video so many times. You know who Samurai Rider is? The chick, she's a black woman, lovely afro, and like just lovely, just black woman, but she's got swords. She practices with swords and bow staffs and all that. She's a dope person. But I'm always getting tagged in her stuff. And like, I'm glad that I'm on your mind 24/7, 25/8. But I don't need to know it. Like, just let me sit on your mind. You don't have to interact with me or send me stuff. Just, let it be. Let it be. But yes, so yeah.
All right, cool. And then you can find me on IG at shoutout, one word, _2_my_Blerds. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to change that name at some point, but that's what it is for now.
Yeah.
That's where you can find me to stay up to date on audio episodes, and then you can watch video episodes on the YouTube channel, Chaotic Goodie-Good, spelled GOODIE, good. So thank y'all.
Yeah.
See y'all next time. Peace.
We gotta do our this is the hand slap too. Come on,
okay,
get in there. Yeah.
Yeah.